Yale was not necessarily my reach school. I was recruited to row at Yale, although that was kind of like sports recruiting at Ivy League colleges is different than most places because they don't offer you scholarships and they don't really have any ability to get you into school. And I was also like a late addition to the recruiting list because I wanted to go to Yale, and my crew coach was also my college advisor, and was like, "Oh, hey, by the way, are you going to want to row? Because if you want to row when you get to college, like you should probably let them know, because it'll be easier if you're one of their guys to get onto the team." So like, sure, why not? And I wrote in marker at the top of my application, like Yale Athletic Department or whatever. So there wasn't any real backlash for quitting crew. I did it, so I came to college, I did crew, and I tried out for a cappella, and I ended up getting into a group I wanted to get into and didn't want to do crew anymore. Is it fair? I feel like I would feel very differently about quitting crew if I had been if I had been less certain that I would have gotten in anyways, but there were 9 kids from my high school class who went to Yale, and I was very well situated within that group in terms of my extracurriculars and my grades and my SATs. So it wasn't like rowing was the reason I was at Yale. And actually, one of the things that kind of led me to quit is I've been having some kind of thoughts about wanting to do other things. And I went and talked to the coach, and he kind of implied, he was like, we helped you get in, basically. And I was kind of like, eat me, like, you didn't really help me get in. I wrote in handwriting, Yale Athletic Department, that's fine. But it wasn't like, a hugely shocking, admission for me.
I feel like that's pretty common. Like, a lot of varsity athletes will come in thinking about playing a sport and then will change their mind after a year or two. And I don't think and maybe that has to do with like the fact that the admissions policy is different in Ivy League schools.
Yeah, there's also, with any college sport, I think wherever you are, you kind of have to make the decisions about like how you're going to spend your time when you're in college. And I think for a lot of the sports that are big in Ivy League schools, they can be very, very demanding of your time, but for lack of a better word, like you don't really get a ton back out of it. So like crew, for example, I loved rowing in high school. I got to college and honestly I just stopped enjoying it. But it was a tremendous time commitment. It's not something there's any professional, there's not like a professional crew league that you can aspire to. And the cost of the time commitment, for me at least, was my schoolwork. And there were classes that they said you couldn't take because they would interfere with rowing. And it just, it wasn't worth it for me.